Okay, continuing in chapter 7 on percent. We're looking at 7.4 today, percent increase or decrease. So these are basically additional applications of percent that are presented in this section. And so the first one we're looking at is a stereo set is marked down at $380. However, a sign in the shop indicates that the stereo is being discounted at 7.5%. What will be the new selling price of the stereo set? Okay, well, let's figure out what the discount is going to be first, and then after that we can determine the selling price. So our discount is basically just going to be what percent it's being discounted at, in this case 7.5%. So if we put that as a decimal, 0.075, again drop the percent, move the decimal 2 places to the left, times the amount of the stereo is 380. This will give us the discount. And once we figure out the discount, we can take that, subtract it from 380, and then that's going to give us our selling price. So if we take 380 times 0.075, we should get our discount price. So 5 times 0 is 0, and then that's going to be 40, and that's 15 plus 4 is 19, and then we have 7 times 0 is 0, then we have 56, and then we have 21 plus 5 is 26. So it's a 0, and here that's going to be 12, 13, 14, 15, and 6, 7, 8, and 2. Now we don't forget to move the decimal 1, 2, 3 places, 1, 2, 3 places. And so our discount looks to be $28.50. So our new price is going to be the $380, the original price here, minus our discount of 28.50. Okay, well, so how do we figure that? Well, we take 380.00 minus 28.50, and we'll have to borrow, so it's a 7, that's a 9, so we have a 0, a 5, a point, 9 minus 8 is 1, 7 minus 2 is 5, 3 minus nothing is 3, and so the new price is going to be 351.50. All right, so is there any other ways to do this? Well, this is one way. Another way we could do this is we could take and find our new price directly. And so the new price is going to be equal to, now what's the price of the stereo going to be after we take off the 7.5%? Well, that's 100% of it. We're taking off 7.5%. So if we take off 100 minus 7.5, that's going to give us a value. And when we get done, we're going to have to convert this to a decimal, because right now it's still a percent. So we're taking 100% minus 7.5%. Now we need to convert it to a decimal. And we take that times the price, which is 380. So if we take 100 and we subtract off 7.5, what does that give us? Well, we borrow here, that's going to give us a 9, and so that's going to be a 0.5. 9 minus 7 is 2. So it looks to be, this is going to be a 92.5%, or if we put that in decimal, 0.925 is going to be the percent in decimal form, times our 380. And this will give us then, hopefully, the same thing, 351.50. So if we take 380 times 0.925, and maybe we want to put 0.925. Now we multiply, that's going to be 0, that's going to be 40, that's going to give us 19, and that's going to be a 0, 2 times 8 is 16, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and then we have 9 times 0 is 0, 9 times 8 is 72, now we have 27 and 7, and so that's going to give us 34, okay? So add all those together, we have 0, 0, 15, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and that's a 5, and that's a 3. Move the decimal 1, 2, 3, so we get that. And so this is equal to 351.50. So both ways we did this, we get the same answer. One of them, we had to think about, okay, well, what is the original price, how much is going to be left after we take the discount, and then that's going to give us a product we get the final answer. The other one is we first find the discount, and then we subtract it from the original price to get the new price. So both ways work, and it all kind of depends on which way you like to do your math. If you want to do a smaller multiplication first and then subtract, or if you just want to do a subtraction first and then multiply. So either way works. All right, so here we go. Due to a logging mill closure, Carly Town falls on hard times and its population decreases from 12,113 to 10,833 in the space of 1 year. What is our percent decrease? All right, so what do we know? Well, first off, we have to figure out what is the decrease. So we have 12,113 minus 10,833. So that's going to be our difference. So 3 minus 3 is 0. Now it looks like we have to borrow, so that's 10. So 8, and then 10 minus 8 is 2. 1 minus 1, so 12. Oops, too many ones. That's 0 there. That's 1 minus 1 is 0. So it's just 1280. Okay, so that's our difference. And so that's how much they're going to lose as far as population goes in that 1 year. And so what we can do is we can say, okay, well, if we take some percent, let's call it P, times our original population, 12,113, and then that's going to give us our decrease, which is 1280. Okay. And so kind of like we did before, we could do this multiplication and then get our answer. But how do you solve for P? Well, we're going to have to divide by 12,113. And so P is going to be equal to, now when we get this is going to be a percentage. And so we're going to take 12113 into, and we'll have 1280, put our decimal, and we'll probably have a few zeros here at the end. Okay. Now this one, they want it to the nearest hundredth of a percent. So we should probably write that down, hundredth of a percent. Okay. So when we do this division, it doesn't go in here, so that's a 0. Now 12,000 will go in here once. That's going to be 12,113. Subtract that off. All right, so that's a 7, that's a 9. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 1 is 8. 7 minus 1 is 6. Those all cancel. And now we bring down our 0. Well, how many times does that go in? Well, 0 times. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to bring down another 0. So now how many times does 12,000 go into 68,000? Probably around 5 times will give us 60, and we'll have to see how much that is. So 12,113 times 5, so that's going to be 15. That's going to give us a 6. That's going to give us a 5. That's going to give us a 10. That's around 60. If we had 12,000 more, that's going to give us 7,200, so that's too much. So we'll put a 5 here, and 60565. Subtract, that's a 6, that's a 9. 10 minus 5 is 5, 9 minus 6 is 3, 6 minus 5 is 1, 8 minus 0 is 8, and now we bring down our next 0. All right, so what do we need here? Well, now we need probably about 6 times, so let's add a 12,113 to that. So that's a 8, a 7, a 6, a 2, a 7. If we had 12,000 more, that's not going to be that, so it's going to be a 6. Now, if we think about to the hundredth of percent, so that's going to be 2 decimal places with the percent sign. So this is our decimal form, so we move the decimal 2 places to the right. Now, that gives us to the hundredth, but we need 1 more spot so we know if we round that up or not. All right, so this is 72678. Subtract that off. And so we got to go all the way over here. 7, that's 10. That's going to be a 12. That's going to be a 14. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 14 minus 7 is 7. 12 minus 6 is 6. 10 minus 2 is 8. And those cancel. And then we have another 0 down from the very top here. And let's see, what does 12,113 do for us? Looks like it might work. So that's going to give us 11. It's going to give us a 9, a 7, a 4, and an 8. So that looks like it's going to fit in here. And so what do we have? Well, if we borrow all the way from here, that's a 5, that's a 16, that's a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. That was a 10 minus, that's 1. That's going to be a 9. That's going to be a 1. And so that was a 7. And it's less than this. And so this is as far as we need to go. So that's going to give us 0.10567, or if we convert it to decimal, 10.567%, and we want it to the hundredth. Well, that 7 is going to round it up, so it's going to be approximately 10.57%. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else we can do here to figure this out? Well, there is, and we can figure it kind of almost directly. Well, here we had a subtraction at the beginning, and so we had to do that, and we solved it by dividing. Now what we can do is we can do, without a subtracting at the beginning, we can do our subtraction at the end. And so if we do that, we're going to take our some percent times our original 12,113 equals the new number, 10,833. And what this is going to be is this going to be what percent of this is left from here. And then if we want to know the decrease, we have to take that percent away from 100 to get the percent. So we're going to divide this by 12113, divide this by 12113. And so now we're going to have another long division. So 12113 into 10833.000. Okay, and if we're going to have a decimal of that many, we'll probably have to go out at least 4 decimal places again, maybe 5, I guess. So we'll do that, and we'll see what we need. All right. So I think we'll see here. Anyway, so that doesn't go in here. Now, how many times does that go into? It looks like 100,000. Oh, that might be, let's add another 12,113. So it's kind of nice here. Here's 5, here's 6, here's 7. Now this will be 8. So this is a 4, 9, 10. That's a 9. That's a 6. That's a 9. If we add another that's going to be 100. Oh, that's going to be too big. So this is going to be 8. So 96904. Subtract that. So that's going to be a 2. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 2 is that. Now I have to borrow one here. That's a 7. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 7 minus that is 1. And then there's another 1. All right. So now we have to bring down our 0. Okay. Now we have 114,000. Well, that one looks like we better go and add another line here. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 3. And so this is 9. So that's a 7, a 1, a 10. That's going to be a 9 and a 109. So it's a 9. So 109017. Subtract that. So that's a 5. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. 2 minus 0 is 2. Now we have to borrow. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And now we bring down another 0. Okay, so now we need 52,000. All right, well, we had 60 was that, so it must be a 4, I would assume now. So let's say 12,113 times 4. That's a 12. That's a 5. That's a 4. That's an 8. That's a 4. That looks good. So that's going to be 48,450. All right. So what do we have? Well, that's a 0. And now we're going to borrow. That's a 4. That's an 11. That's a 13. So 8 here. And then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 here. And not 8, 3. And then now we bring down another 0, 39. Okay, we're going even smaller now. So that's going to probably be a 3. So 12,113 times 3. 93363. So we have a 3. All right. So now we've got 36339. Subtract that off. And we have, now we're getting small numbers here. We don't have enough room, so let's continue it over here. So we have a 7, 9. So 10 from 9 is 1. 9 minus that is 6. 7 minus 3 is 4. 9 minus 6 is 3. Bring down another 0. So that one looks to be a 2. So we'll have a 2 here. Now, if we move that over 2, that should be enough spaces. So we should be good here. So we don't have to worry about that. And so P is going to be equal to 0.89432. So that's the percent of this one from that. And so if we want to know the decrease, what we're going to have to do is, whoa, what did there? Our decrease is going to be equal to 100 minus, now if we convert that to decimal, it's going to be 89.43. The 2 doesn't round up, so that would be what we have. So 100 minus 89.43. And guess what? We get 10.57% that way as well. So either way we've done it, we get the same percentage. Okay? So again, you only have to do one way, but it all depends on which way you like to do. If you want to do the subtraction first and then the division, or the division first and then the subtraction. All right. Due to a department store closure, the population of Petroria decreases by 5.3%. If the original population was 14,034 hardy souls, what is our new population? Well, here we know the decrease is going to be, and it's taking the 5.3% of this number here. So we're going to take 0.053 once converted to a decimal times 14,034, and that's going to tell us what the decrease is. So if we take and multiply those, 14,034 times 0.053, so that's a 12, 9, 10. That's another 12, and that's a 4. Now if we have 5, that's 20, and it's 15, 16, 17. And 5, and it's 20 again, and that's a 7. So it's a 2, 0, 7, 8, 3, and that's a 4, and that's a 7. Move it 3 decimal places. And so here we better figure out what it is, because that's a decimal point of a person. So here we want it to the nearest person. Okay, so that means that's going to be approximately 744. So that's how much it decreased. So our new population is just going to be our 14,034 minus our 744, and that equals, now if we multiply or subtract those, 14,034 minus 744, and that's a 0. Now we have to borrow, and so we have 9, and then 9 minus 7 is 2, it's a 3, so 13,290 is going to be our new population. Okay, and so that would be our answer to the nearest whole person. Now we could do like we did last time on the first one, and we could take the 100 minus our percent, 5.3% decrease. And if we do that, well, that's going to give us a 9, a 9. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 5 is 4, and that's a 9. So what we could do is our new population is just going to be 0.947, the percent that's going to be left, times 14,034. And that directly, if we do all that multiplication, what we're going to get is something hopefully close to 13,290. So 14,034 times 0.947. So 4 times 7 is 28. And then we have 21, 22, 23. Then we have 28 again, then a 9. Then we have 16, 12, 13. Then we have 16, and 4 and 1 is 5. And then we have 4 times 9 is 36. Then 9 times 3 is 27, 28, 29, 30. And it's a 3. And so then where are we at? Now we have 9 times that's 36 again. 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 8, we have a 9, we have a 10, a 10, a 19, and that's going to be a 12, and that's going to be a 3, and that, and we move it 3 decimal places, and so we get to one whole thing, 13290 once again. And again, that's just with rounding, okay? All right, so that's how we do that one. So let's see what we have next. So it says a bartender is granted a 4.6% salary increase if his current salary is $2,500 per month. Find the new monthly salary. All right, well, let's see what we get here. If we do by finding just the increase, that's just going to be equal to the percent 0.046 times current value 2,500, and if we multiply that together, that should tell us how much we get an increase. Then we can add that to our original salary of 2,500. So if we take 2,500 times 0.046, we get 0,030. 12 plus 3 is 15. Then we get 0,020. 8 plus 2 is 10. So we get 0,00511. Move it 3 decimal places, we get $115. So the new salary is 2,500 plus 115, which is equal to 2,615. So that's going to be the new salary. Okay. Now, what is it going to be if we do the other way, we multiply? Well, if we think about it, the new salary is going to be equal to, well, it's going to be the original salary plus 4.6%. So how do we write that? Well, the original salary is going to be 100 plus the 4.6, that's going to be 104.6. So the new one's going to be 104.6%, but if we put it in decimal form, that's 1.046, and we take it times the 2,500. And so 1.046 times 2,500. And so we'll drop our 2 zeros. That's going to be 30. That's 23. And we have a 5. And so then here we have a 12. 8 plus 1 is 9. Then we have a 0. And we have a 2. And so that looks to be 0, 0, 0, 5, 11, 6, 2, 3 decimal places, 2615. And so either way we go, we get the same value. This one might be shorter just because we could say, okay, well, it's going to be 100% plus the increase of 4.6%. So that's 104.6%. Convert that to decimal. That's 1.046 times 2,500. And we just have that. Whereas this one, we had to multiply, and then we had a little bit more adding to do than we did over here. But again, either way works and gives us the same answer. All right. This one, bicycle is marked at 328, is sold for 264. Find the percent discount. All right, so several ways again to do this. What we can do is we can take P times our original price, 328, and that's going to give us our new 264 price. Okay. Well, what does that give us? Well, if we divide those out, we're going to have to divide both sides by 328. That's a 2. And so P is equal to what? Well, 328 into 264.000. All right. Now, what does this one ask for? It asks for to the nearest tenth of a percent. All right. So nearest tenth of a percent, we'll have to go to 3. Let's see. If we have decimals of like say x point x percent, that means we'll have to go out to here. And if we move it over here, 2 decimals 0.0 x 0, we'll have to go to 4 decimal places. Okay, if depending on what our value is, because we have to kind of do that. So let's go ahead and put our 4 there. And so that goes in 0 times. So pretty easy there. What times 3 gives us 26? Well, times 8 will give us 24. And so 328 times 8, that's going to give us 64. That's 16 plus 6 is 22. 24, 25, 26. So we have 2, 6, 2, 4. Subtract that. That's a 3. 10 minus 4 is 6. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down a 0. Well, that's going to be a 0. Bring down another 0. And so 328 times, if we do it times 4, maybe that would be kind of what we'd want. That's going to give us 32. That's going to give us 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If we add 328 to that, 1640, so that's too big. So it looks like 4 is our correct value. So subtract that off, that's a 5, that's a 9. So 10 minus 2 is 8, 9 minus 1 is 8. Oh, hello. Oops. 9 minus 1 is also 8, and then 5 minus 3 is 2. And so now we bring down another 0. And it looks like probably the best one here would be another 8. And so that's going to give us 26, 24. Subtract, that's a 7. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. 8 minus 6 is 2. And so that should give us to the nearest tenth. And so that's going to be 80.48%, or 80.5%. Now that's how much is remaining. We want the discount. So now we have to take the discount is equal to 100 minus 80.5. And so if we do that, 100 minus 80.5, what do we get? Well, that's going to be a 9, a 9. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus that is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. So it looks to be a 19.5% discount. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Now the other way is where we subtract this first, then we set it equal to, and then it gives us a value. So if we do it the other way, we're going to take 328 minus 264. So 8 minus 4 is 4. Now we have to borrow 1, and that's a 6. And so we have P times 328 equals 64. So we divide by 328, divide by 328. And so P is equal to, now we have to do that division. So 328 into 64.0000. All right, and again, you only have to do it one of these ways. And so whichever way makes more sense for you is the way to do these problems. All right, so 2 times that's going to give us 6 over what we need. So we can only do that one time. So that's 328. Subtract that off. So that's a 3. 10 minus 8 is 2. That was 4. So that's a 3 minus 2 is 1. 6 minus 3 is 3. Bring down a 0. And so how many times does that go? 328 times 9 maybe? So 9 times that's 72. That's 18. 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 25. And 3 times 9 is 27, 28, 29. So we have a 9 here. That's 2952. So borrow, that's a 10, that's 11. 10 minus, yeah, it's 8. 11 minus 5 is 6. And 10 minus 9 is 1. Bring down our 0. All right. So now that looks to be about 5 maybe. So 328 times 5. Did we do that yet anywhere? Not really all the way. And so it's going to be 40. That's 10, that's 14, that's 15, 16. So that's a 5. That's a 1646. Subtract that off. That's a 7. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. Drop down another 0 because we have to have the extra thing here. That will only go in once. That's 328. And so that's less than 328. So now we have 19.51 is going to be what the percent is, and to the nearest tenth is 19.5%. So again, we get the same thing, just different calculations as far as how we do it. The subtraction at the beginning or at the end, and in the middle, either way, we get the division. All right, so here we have a clerk's salary, and they make $3,600 per month, and it's going to increase to $4,100 per month. Find the percent increase. All right, again, we can do this two different ways. We could subtract first and say, okay, well, 4,100 minus 3,600, and that's going to be 0.005. And so we can take and say P times 3,600 equals 500 divided by 3,600 divided by 3,600. And so P is equal to what? Well, dividing those out, 3,600 into 500.0000. How many decimal places does this one want? It's to the 10th of a percent. So 10th of a percent. All right. So we'll have to go out 4 places here. Let's see. Yeah, 4 places. Okay. So that goes in 0. Now 36 will only go in here once. That's 3,600. That's 0, 0, and that's a 4, and that's a 1. Bring down another 0. So 3,600 times what? It's going to give us 14,000 times 4 maybe. So that's 0, 0, 24. That's 12, 13, 14. And another 36 is going to give us way too much. Well, actually, that's already too much, 14,400. All right, so that means it's a 3. 0, 0, 18, 9, 10. So 3 gives us 10800. So subtract, and that gives us a 9. Oh, that's where we need to be. We need to be at 10. Never mind that. So it's 0, 0, 10 minus 8 is 2. 3 minus that's 3. Bring down another 0. All right. So this looks to be, it's going to be a big number. So 3,600 times maybe 8. 0, 0, 48, 28. So that looks like it's about as big as we can get. 28,800. So that's a 0, so we borrow 2, that's going to be a 3. Hey, guess what? We have a repeating decimal, so that's going to be 8,888, no matter how many we go. And so if we convert that to a percent, 8%, and we wanted to the 10th of a percent. And so what does that mean? It's going to be approximately 13.9% because that will round that one up. All right, so that's the percent increase. Now, what if we did it the other way? Well, the other way would be saying, okay, well, P times 3,600 equals 4,100. So we divide by 3,600. So P is equal to what? Well, P is going to be 4,100 divided by 3,600. 4 zeros again. Well, that's going to be a 1. That's 3,600. Guess what? There's our 500 again. That's going to be a 1 again. So that's going to be 3,600. 0, 0, 4, 1. Bring down another 0. 14,000. Do we have anything? It must be the 3. So that's going to be a 3. So that's going to be 10,800. 0, 0, 2, 3. Now 3,200, oh, that's going to be the 8, and that's going to give us 28,800, 002, and that's going to give us a 3 again. Have to think about what I'm subtracting. And guess what? We get 8888 again. And so this is going to be 113.9 or 88%. But if we go ahead and convert it to the 1 decimal place, it's going to be 0.9. That's how much increase it was overall. But if we only want the percent increase that we actually got, we take 100 away from that and we get 13.9%. So we're going to take 113.9 minus 100 and we get 13.9%. Okay, and so that's where we get that. And again, both of those match. All right, let's do one last one here today. So whooping crane populations made a remarkable comeback from just 15 birds in 1941 to about 400 birds in 2010. What is the percent increase for the whooping crane population over the past 70 years? All right, so let's do this just one way. Let's take, where's my pencil here? P times our original amount is equal to 400. So original times a percent, so it's going to be a huge increase. And so we divide by 15, and so 15 goes into 400, and we have some zeros here, so we'll put a decimal here, and they want it to the nearest percent. So whole percent. All right, so 15 times 3 is 45, so times 2 is only going to give us 30. Subtract that, that's 1 0, bring down a 0. And so that's going to be a 6. And that gives us 90. Subtract that, we get 10. Bring down another 0. Guess what? We get another 6. And that's another 90. And we subtract that, that's 10. Bring down another 0. So that's going to just be 6, 6, 6, 6 all the way across. And so that's 26.666. And now if we move the decimal to make it a percent, that's 2,666.6%. Okay. Or, if we round that, that would be 66%. But we only want the whole percent. So really, we just needed that one value because that's going to round that up to approximately 2,667%. And so that is then going to be our percent increase from 15 birds up to the 400 birds. All right. All right, so hopefully that helped you with some of the questions and the assignment this week.